So I'm splitting some wood the other day. This is some old wood, red gum, pretty hard, pretty seasoned. And this old axe, this came with the house 18 years ago when I bought it. It was really beat up. I've never really used this in anger. Somebody has. That's pretty damaged. But it was still working, and it did pretty well. But finally I came across this piece, and I had a pretty good lick on it, and it got jammed in this piece of wood. Tried to use the handle here as a lever, and it just snapped off. Accumulated damage. Not a problem. When I got a new axe handle. And I'm going to fit that in there today, but I got to thinking I really do need a splitting maul. When I got this handle, I started looking at some of the splitting mauls I had available. You can pay a lot of money for a good splitting maul. The cheap ones, not so much. But I figured I can maybe make one. The big stumbling block, I don't have any equipment or materials to make something that'll hold that shape. I could get a different type of handle, but still it's a pretty complicated shape. I couldn't do that with any material that I've got. Plus that's a steel head. You can see it's kind of burned here. I had to heat, when I replaced this handle, I had to heat this up really hot and then jam the handle into it. It makes it nice, firm fitting. I really couldn't do that with the tools and equipment I have. So figured I could use something that I already have. Sledgehammer is pretty heavy, but I don't want to ruin this sledgehammer. It's a good sledgehammer. I figured why not make something that I can put on this head. I can take some bits of steel, slot it in here, make it so it's nice and secure and doesn't slip around. Let's try to do that. If that fails, well, no big deal. I can still buy a splitting maul. But for now, I'll just replace this axe handle. Best laid plans. I replaced that axe handle twice. Total duration for those two replacements was 2.5 days. I took them back to the store and compared them. You know, the wood that's just brittle, it's shattered. The store gave me my money back. And you know, they weren't cheap, $24 a piece for those handles. And so I got my money back. It was almost enough to buy this new axe. Now this did the job for clearing brush. And I tried it on the red gum when I was trying to split that wood later, and it still bounced off. It's just not heavy enough. So I still needed a splitting maul. Well, I had that old axe head. Introducing Frankenaxe. This is that old axe head. It's a handle that I had from some other implement. I had laying in my shed for a couple of years. And that's not going to break. That's really robust, really heavy. So what I did with the old axe head, big chunks of heavy iron. This was some rectangular tubing that I've sectioned. It was 2 by 3 inch. And I had to do this because this neck's down. It tapers. So in order to get a good tight fit on this handle, I had to, you know, allow it to bend around it. Then I held it tight with these little clamps I made, heavy duty brackets with drilled holes and bolts. And they're not welded in place, they're just held there by friction, but you know, they're tight enough, they didn't slip. It's held really well. And you really want your axe head to not come off of your handle. But it worked. So anyways, welded top and bottom. And I reckon this axe head is probably heat treated as well. I may have ruined the heat treating of it, but I wasn't too worried about that. And it hasn't split or broken off. So, okay, you need a good splitting maul, you just happen to have an old axe head laying around. This is what you might want to do. If you're really serious about splitting wood though, maybe buy a hydraulic splitter or buy a proper splitting maul. I have to tell you though, this is awfully heavy now, and you can buy really big splitting mauls, but you have to be a Charles Atlas to swing the darn thing. This is about as heavy as I could swing and then hit the target reliably. So it worked for me. Anyways, if you're out of ideas or just don't want to spend the money and want to make a nice splitting maul, this is an option. Worked well.